Hello guys, welcome back to another live stream. How is everyone doing? It's the 20th of May, so month of May is almost finishing. Hope you guys are having a good month. Another weekly forecast. So if it's the first time that you are joining us in this stream, on Saturday we do a weekly forecast, so try to pay attention to any big news or zones to look for trades for the week ahead. That's basically what you are looking for. So if you do have any that you'd like to share, any setups that you'd like to share, any zones that you'd like to share, please feel free to comment and we're going to take a look into it. The assets that we look at is dollar index. I will start with the dollar index because of how important it is in terms of the overview for the other major dollar pairs that then I trade, and the correlation also that the dollar has with so many other assets such as gold, even the indices and so on. We also take a look at Euro index and the yen index, and then the S&P, NASDAQ, DAX and Dow, we also take a look into them, and individual currency pairs, euro dollar, pound dollar, yen, Aussie, CAD and so on, and finishing with Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's usually how the stream goes. So again, I'm just going to do my own overview, what I expect for next week. Feel free to comment, and yeah, if you are new, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel as well. It's been 1 year, I think it was 18th of May or 17th of May last year that since I started with the streams. Yeah, it's been interesting to share my views with everyone. I hope you guys have benefited from it as well. I did, even to show the accountability to share my analysis. That's worth, that's why I'm doing it, and hopefully to help you guys as well to find good levels to look for trading opportunities. So what did we have last week? In terms of news, there wasn't really anything that happened. It was a quiet week in terms of the macro data. A few unemployment in UK, Australia. In the US, there was basically nothing much going on aside from the retail sales, and of course the unemployment claims, which is every Thursday. It was a little bit better than the previous week, and it goes back to this 240k range. Yesterday it was quite actually. There was Pedro Powell spoke in a conference, I think with Bernanke as well. So previous Fed chair as well, and it was interesting. Right, the market was quite volatile. He shared actually quite a few ideas that kind of reinforced what he had mentioned in the previous meeting. The likelihood of another hike, I think, it's really small. Market is, he mentioned it quite a few times, that is not really before you get to the stage where we are now. There was more room to grow and also more room to hike. That's also has been the message that is shared. But now he's mentioned a few times that they come to a point where maybe there's other ways to do it. The lagging effects into economy is it's just going to be seen and reflected all these hikes in the next couple of months or a few months. So that's kind of where we are, and the likelihood of another hike, it's quite small. Now the question is, are we going to have any cuts? Market is looking at after summer to start looking for cuts. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to last a little bit longer. And another situation, of course, in the US is the debt ceiling, and we saw NASDAQ making a good run, breaking completely those highs in August. We're going to take a look at NASDAQ in a bit, S&P as well, and so on. So what do you have here on the dollar? It was a rally to the upside this week, right? And that's basically what we were looking for since last week. Since we broke literally within this compression zone, basically we're looking for price to get closer to that range. Last week we were where were we last week? where did we finish? Yeah, in here, right? So yeah, 12.15. Yeah, so that's where basically we were last week. We finished somewhere in there. I mentioned that I was looking for kind of for continuation previous Monday. In reality, Monday actually was a little bit of the retracement, and actually I did mention then in the end, if by any chance we do have a little bit of a retracement on Monday, then Tuesday most likely is going to be the continuation day. It will be one of those two, either Monday continuation, or then maybe Tuesday a little bit of retracement, or the opposite, Monday the retracement and Tuesday the continuation. I think there was a clear path for the dollar to move to the upside, and that's kind of what he had. And nice and simple zone where price reacted from this previous levels of support resistance with this demand zone, and we continued the rally to the upside. After we finally finished this or completed this this move in here, now it was about time for price to make a decision, either just continue or to have a little bit of a retracement. And let's see now actually how deep the retracement is going to be. Are we going to go a little bit deeper or not? I think there's maybe a little bit more of a space in here to go higher. I don't think that actually the high, unless maybe I'm missing something on the lower time frame in there, because it didn't even touch this low. It didn't touch, where is it? Right, it didn't touch this low, which was kind of one of the openings. It didn't really touch the level in there, and kind of it took these highs, right? So that may be seen a little bit as an engulf to the upside. Now we can have a deep retracement before we continue, right? We can even maybe go all the way back, maybe retest somewhere in here before we continue to the upside, or even maybe now maybe take this double top that was created a little bit in here, and now react from there and move down, right? We could maybe take these lows, or even this low that is already in here could be interesting. Go higher, react from that supply level that is still fresh in here on the left, and then have the move to the downside, right? We have a little bit of this demand zone that in theory price should have respected it, and it didn't, right? Price kind of should have done this, and it didn't, and now it's kind of reacting from, so kind of it left now this level behind because none of these highs kind of reacted from there. I'm just curious to see how price is going to react from here. Now on the lower time frame, we can take a look into it. Let's just be precise. Actually important to be precise with this. 15 minutes. Still have, yeah, almost don't have more data there. Yeah, okay. So this is, as you can see, this is where the separation starts, right? This is where these highs started to try to attempt to go higher, and it cannot, and it never touch it. Now maybe you can look at this price in here, and maybe that's the level that maybe price eventually went and retraced to. Bigger picture, there's maybe more room to go higher, maybe somewhere in between this level in here. So let's see if that's going to happen on the dollar index. Again, what we were looking for last week, that has happened, which was exactly the move to the upside to fill the compression. So that the target is done. And you could look for the opposite, of course, when you're looking at the other currency pairs, euro, dollar, and so on, pound, and just to move to the downside until kind of the retracement. It was a little bit expected also, the retracement. Dollar has been quite strong for quite a few days, so a little bit of retracement is completely normal. And there you go. Now, if price by any chance starts breaking above this level, again, especially this structure in here, I think there's more room to go higher. Now we do have, and pay attention to this previous level of support resistance somewhere in here, but I think if you do that, I think maybe you can start aiming to go a little bit more to the upside in here. But for now, yes, we have this level which price hasn't really even kind of touched the zone itself. Yep, let's see how price is going to behave. Now looking a little bit more the downside, where can you see maybe some retracement? I did like this level in here that price kind of left behind, so pay attention to whenever price gets there. Is still there? Is still anything in here that you can aim for a sell within these highs? Maybe maybe that high didn't really touch the other zone in there. So there's maybe something in there to look for in case price goes and wants to go a little bit higher. So as you can see, basically we just took this low in here. So there's a little bit more room to the downside as well, as you could have this compression in here. So that's kind of a little bit of where we are. I can actually do this. Yeah. Even in there as well, none of these walls kind of touch it. So yeah, now it's indecision. This week maybe a little bit more busy in terms of data. We're going to have, especially Tuesday, full of PMI data, like manufacturing and services coming out. So usually those days, and it's going to be starting in Eurozone, UK, US, they can lead to a trending day, or at least volatility in the morning, a trending day in the morning, and then maybe if the US data is different, maybe have a deep reversal, but expect most likely a trending day, a trending London session, and then let's see if there's a continuation on during the US session or a reversal, but expect volatility on Tuesday. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see where actually price is going to do. I'm still drinking my coffee. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Second. Right. So if all of a sudden I'm not speaking, it's because most likely I'm drinking my coffee in here. So yeah. So now dollar, somewhere in here, somewhere in there. If breaks above, maybe more move to the upside. If start going a little bit lower, we may have a little bit of a continuation, maybe some reversal and then continuation again to the downside. Yeah, I'm just curious now to see what's next. If this level actually is going to hold or not. If something in here is actually going to be able to hold price or not. That's kind of the main point that I'm going to be looking at. In here it was a well-structured move to the upside. Now there's still maybe something in here, but let's see by any chance we're going to have that retracement. Maybe paying attention also on the euro, which is going to look in a bit. We'll see if there's even a proper chance actually to see price going much farther down or up. Yeah, let's take a look in a bit on the euro. Now yeah, let's jump into the indices. Yeah, it was more clear again. Sometimes the market, it's exactly like this, right? The proper destination target to look for, the momentum is there and you have a clear target that you're looking for. Some other times you just need to wait and see what exactly price is doing. We are aware of the levels that most likely can have some reaction. If price breaks above those levels, then we start changing our bias. If price respects those levels, then you can start positioning ourselves maybe to look for a deeper retracement, for example. Like this. So again, not always we have 100% prediction or kind of proper bias. Sometimes you need just keep waiting and to see what are the next moves from price in order to position ourselves in accordance. Yes, yesterday, yep, completely looking for a bearish dollar. That was scenario. Looking for longs on euro, on the pound. That was exactly what we were looking for. Even because again, price was super extended, a dollar to the upside, euro to the downside, and price was actually reacting from good levels. So how that helps in terms of trying to then find opportunities for that specific day. So yeah, let's take a look at the indices, right? And it has been a big change in here, especially in NASDAQ. We had a big rally. 1 second. Right, so we had a big rally on the indices, right? All the way through the week. This was actually a nice little zone. We had NASDAQ completely breaking the August highs, and now literally in terms of who is leading, who's lagging. Even if you bring Dow into the conversation, not just even S&P and NASDAQ, Dow is the one actually leading. Because Dow actually, if you just pay attention to this high back in the middle of August last year, right? So S&P is still underneath that. NASDAQ just broke it, but actually Dow has actually broken though that high last year, around November or something like that. as you can see in here. If you pay attention to it's the same high back in 16th of August, and Dow actually broke it already in December last year. So in terms of who's leading, in terms of who broke this level, who had a deeper retracement already to the upside, Dow did that. Meanwhile, it's now a different story. Right now, it's a different dynamic of what's going to happen here. What you can try to find out is actually maybe where actually these highs reacted in here on the Dow, where did they reacted to on the left side, and maybe you can try to look for the NASDAQ as well to find maybe if this level itself was good enough to bring the Dow to downside around that time, and if you think in terms of volatility and correlation, sorry, maybe there's something around the same zone structure that maybe can help NASDAQ to go down. If you have the same thought process in terms of the S&P, because NASDAQ, there you go. Well, let's take a look at all of them. As you can see, NASDAQ just broke this level, right? So whatever is reacting from here now, we'll see. But on the other hand, S&P just broke this high, and as you can see, NASDAQ reacted quite a few times above this level into here. So you can also maybe take a look into where all these highs reacted from on the left side, and maybe that can give some clues also maybe where you can see S&P reacting from. If those levels are still fresh, maybe you can see some reaction on the S&P from there. For example, where is this high reacting from? In here on the left side, which is somewhere in there. Maybe NASDAQ had already reacted from there. It's exactly some level in there before, and that's kind of an exercise that you can do in terms of looking for potential zones in there where maybe price can react from. Now looking at them, yes, I still see these ones as potential zones a little bit more to the downside eventually whenever price turns. Now we do have all this liquidity. I've mentioned quite a few times that I was looking for the S&P to actually get closer to this high, and I'm curious to see how price actually is going to react from there. So far, a little bit expected with so much liquidity in here. We go higher, and then kind of we'll retrace a little bit. Where are we? Here. And actually there was a gap in here all the way back in 19th of August. There's a gap between the opening and where the market kind of closed and open. And yeah, there's maybe still something in here to look for eventually as a level that price can still react from. Maybe something in there, something in here. Yep, maybe something in there. And those are a few of the levels that you can try to look for on the S&P that maybe can hold price a little bit down. So for now, price reacted from here. As you can see, this was the gap. Basically, the gap was closed in there. Maybe above this high, something inside here can also do the job. This one was already taken, so this was maybe one of the best ones, but it was already taken on the way down after it kind of broke the wall. So this could have been a great entry to catch that sell opportunity. Yeah, so if this was kind of the best one, this has been taken, something in here or something even above that can maybe hold price down. Yeah, we'll see. Otherwise, you just go again above it. At this point, NASDAQ S&P is the only one that hasn't really broken this high from August, and you do have this structure in here that you can still go to. Now intraday, there are actually some good opportunities intraday, either for long or sell. Price basically retested that level. Is this going to still hold? Price going to go a little bit higher? Most likely. Yeah, most likely. Just keeping an eye on this one to see where eventually price can go to. Maybe going to continue this kind of compression move until either price turns or until eventually price breaks to the upside as well and follows whatever NASDAQ is doing, right? Because NASDAQ did exactly this. So even if you were short, even if you're a short bias on the NASDAQ and you're looking maybe for ways for price to reverse from there, basically anytime price was aiming to go down, it was not possible because price basically was respecting every single low on the way, not even breaking. So eventually we need to stop with the short buys until we actually get some confirmation, especially for the bigger picture. Now this is again kind of, if you want to study where those levels are, you can even maybe check the dates. Maybe the dates are even in alignment. So since we broke this high, we reacted from there, then we reacted a little bit from here, and just pause a little bit in there, and we have a little bit of reaction from there. And you can try to see it in here on the left side, where maybe over the levels, right? This one, a little bit obvious. You can see kind of the decision point that was created in here after the break of these lows, right? So reacted from there. So it's literally a good level. I think that's similar to the zone in here. Second, guys. Oh my god, this 74 is not. Okay, which day was it? On the 19th, 6 p.m. On the 19th, not 6, 16. Yeah, 16. Right, so it's somewhere in here. So that's basically the zone that actually managed to hold price quite well. At least NASDAQ. Somewhere in here managed to hold it. Yep, somewhere in there. So maybe that's going to be a zone as well to that NASDAQ, that S&P can maybe respect up above these highs. Maybe, where are we? Yeah, maybe can. Let's see if that's going to happen. Hey Faden, how are you? Yeah, that looks, yeah, that's possible. Just an example, right? So then eventually a little bit higher, and you can go like that. You can even try to check exactly what time it was, the day it was, and how kind of the shape of the candles, because the way price was moving down, it was exactly the same. And maybe if there were orders left behind on the NASDAQ around that level, maybe S&P can also be the same. Can also occur them similar zones. Yeah, then it was there, and then whatever. So, and now, of course, NASDAQ changes everything, because now we still need to start looking a little bit higher, and actually where is the next level. So far, this was a beautiful zone. On the base of this, where actually NASDAQ reacted so far, this was one of the first levels, right? At the base of this previous level support resistance, and this level was still fresh, as you can see. This high never touched it. You can even go a little bit lower into the overtime. No, I cannot. Yeah, you can even see on this time frame that high never touched it, and there was literally a supply level still in there in alignment with this previous low, and there you go. That's kind of where eventually NASDAQ is reacting so far. So that's kind of the first level where NASDAQ found some resistance after breaking those highs, and then you can go maybe a little bit higher to look for another one. And another one that is kind of standing out a little bit is, of course, all this accumulation of highs. Maybe above this there's going to be something in there, maybe still something in here as well. And actually this level in here is actually in alignment with this previous low that created this last high. So that can be an important zone. You can see how many times kind of this level has been respected in the past as well. So that can be a good level maybe to look for a reaction whenever price gets there again. And of course then eventually can be this level in here as well. This looks quite nice, just above all these highs in here. None of these also touch it, and also in the base of this level. But let's wait for the future, and if price eventually starts getting really close to the highs, there's even a chance that can start aiming for all-time highs as well. But yeah, until there, let's see what actually is going to happen, how price is going to react around this high as well. From here it's going to be interesting. Are you going to manage to go all the way back down or not? The way price is moving so far, I think we may have still another high being created. You can even again study a little bit of how price tends to move away when it's about to reverse. For example, when you took these highs in here, how did price behaved? As you can see in here, even if this like kind of looks similar for the first move down, but we still need kind of that spike eventually to actually spike everyone to collect liquidity in order to push price down. So you are still in need of this by any chance if price wants to reverse. Yeah, that's just something to keep an eye on as well. So yeah, for now, really good zone. We do have, of course, all these previous levels support resistance, even that high as well. So that level still kind of needs to, or can work still as a zone to look for a long. This level in here is quite nice as well. This small demand zone in here can be kind of, price can fake out this low and kind of push price to the upside afterwards. Just something to keep an eye on as well. So here we are. This is NASDAQ, really strong momentum to the upside during this week. There's been crazy a couple of weeks in here. Look at this candle during this week. Is it everything just related to the debt ceiling? How crazy it is. Look at this month as well. Now we have a really strong second month. Let's see how this candle is going to finish. If we're going to continue to push higher, going to kind of get anywhere near the opening of May. So let's see what's going to happen in here. And then we have Dow, as I mentioned. Dow, it's all interesting dynamics, right? Because if you could look at this high, yes, Dow has been reading, and actually let's take a look into that, right? So which day was this? 22nd of April. And then the last high was created on 22nd of April. This is in alignment with the break of this low, and this one is alignment a little bit with the move higher, which was then on the 21st. We'll read more in detail. So this one was quite obvious, the supply, the 22nd of April, and then 21st. There's a little bit of this level. Oh, what's going on in here? Can I go back? 2021. Yeah, I have gaps on data. I cannot really go that far away. Apparently. Okay, let's just go back to 30. Okay, 1 hour then. What's going on in here? Jesus. Yeah, just reviewing key levels. Okay, so 21st of April, 22nd of April. Fair enough. So let's take a look at NASDAQ. There you go. 21st of April. Same thing. Right. This was a little bit lighter. It was at, actually, let me see the hour. Cannot really see the hour because I don't have enough data there on the world time frame for some reason. So this one was around 7:45. The zone that was fresh, but same 21st of April. And NASDAQ, and this one, the Dow, was 21st. It was a little bit late. It was before. It was around 4 p.m. The other one is around 7. There you go. Same date, 21st of April. And then the other one, it will be on the 22nd. This is out. Yeah. So the other one, it was in here. That was the one at around 4 p.m. Something like that. Something in here. The one 21st and then 22nd. Oh, what am I looking at? Yeah, 22nd and then 21st. Okay, got it. Yeah, 21st was around the same time. Okay, yeah, it was around 9. Okay. Got it. 22nd was below that. Okay, yeah, sorry guys. This was a little bit different of what I was looking for. Where am I? Complete lost. Yeah, this one reacted already from that one on the 22nd. Yeah, on the 22nd it reacted straight away in here. It was reaction from this high. So yeah, there you go. It still worked. Yeah, still works. Yeah, but this is something if you want you can do that. So let's see whatever NASDAQ is going to do next. And the Dow, I'm still looking for price to get a little bit closer to that level. It managed to respect this low. Question mark is this one an engulf down or not, or just respect the next level, it's ready to go higher. Bigger picture, this can be seen as an engulf down. Over time frame, it actually reacting from a really good level. So that's a little bit of where we are. As you can see, bigger picture, we actually broke below it. Maybe the next target is going to be somewhere in here to look for. But over time frame, as you can see, this was a good level to look for a reaction because it reached a fresh demand zone. Price went higher. We are still re-expecting this level. I'm looking for price to get closer to here. So, and then from here, maybe you can aim and look for another sell. Now, I would definitely prefer to see actually this low breaking into this compression until maybe there, instead of just respecting this low. So I would definitely like to see this low creating a new low, kind of another confirmation, then kind of holding, pretend that it's holding, and then can go higher, and then can go down. So far we have kind of a double bottom in here, so that doesn't really play as I wanted, but let's see. I'm still going to be looking for a potential zone somewhere in there to look for a reaction in here on the Dow. Yeah, all this looks nice. Price already reacted from there. We already have liquidity created in there. We have enough liquidity created in here as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking for in there. And then we have DAX, which is an interesting one. Just created new kind of all-time highs, which finally broke the double top. It was always a little bit of a concern in terms of the double top. It works as magnetic, almost attracts the price to go towards there. Now, whatever, let's see. We do have this compression zone. I think eventually we can be close to kind of a reversal, getting maybe closer to this demand zone and then continue to go higher. Maybe retesting this zone in here, right? Or that has been already tested in here, so that's kind of done. But maybe the demand zone, it's a little bit fresh. We have all this, but it's hard, right? Without any data on the left, right? It makes it almost impossible because we never know when actually kind of price wants to just turn. It's kind of a gamble at this point in there, but yeah, but eventually, like, I could see eventually price having a little bit of a retracement, maybe retracing this level and then maybe continue to go higher. Let's see for how long this is going to happen. Yep, interesting. The index is creating all-time highs and continue to be so bullish when the world is not still nowhere near close to be that well, but whatever, we'll see. And that's it for the indices, guys. Sorry for taking a little bit of more time looking at those Dow, NASDAQ. It's a good exercise if you want to do it. Yeah, so let's take a look at the Euro index and the yen index. All right, so starting with the Euro index, we are still stuck within this range, right? So hasn't really anything changed in here after the big momentum to the downside that we had since the ECB press conference. That Euro moved to downside. Kind of we reached one of our targets, which was somewhere in here. So to fill out this compression, and price is still kind of indecisive to which direction it wants to go next. It's going to be interesting whenever it breaks first. Either this high in here could, if it's broken, can start indicating a little bit more room to the upside. This one is already kind of spiked in there, and we may go all the way into this compression, all the way into this level. So that could happen. On the other hand, we start to have way too many lows. I think actually this one slightly went below that one, so it's a small fake out, but we do have maybe this demand zone in here also that price eventually could go to. Yep, support resistance. Yeah, so we're just curious to see how price is going to react somewhere from this level around here. If we're going to have a little bit of a retracement to the upside or not. We have seen some opportunities on the euro pairs, but they haven't been in alignment, right? There's been a euro move this week, So it has been more, I don't know, you could see Euro CAD, for example, was moving quite nicely to the downside, but Euro maybe was moving a little bit upwards. So not all the Euros were moving in alignment. And when you do have that, when you have kind of the Euro pairs moving not all the same way, that's when you start having these ranges, right? Opposite, when everything is moving in alignment, to have these big moves to the downside or to the upside. So yeah, curious to see. If you do break above this level, I think eventually you're going to go higher. Now, if you even break above this level, there's even the chance to break above this level, maybe take these lows, and only after going all the way maybe to test and feel this compression that is in here. So that is still even a possibility, because we do have quite a lot of liquidity created already with all these lows, and maybe there's something underneath in here that price could go and visit. So that could still be a scenario on this Euro index. But yeah, it's within this range. So now we need to pay attention to whatever is going to happen next in here, which zone is going to be broken first or second. Overall, bigger picture, yeah, this kind of looks like a little bit with the dollar index, but reversed, right? The dollar index basically filled out the compression, and now kind of it's a little bit in the decision in between this the next level. If you do break below it, maybe then there's more room to the downside, which eventually can actually go there. But at the same time, maybe here is a good place to have a little bit of a deep retracement, and maybe then kind of correct or go pick these sell orders in there, or maybe a little bit even higher in here. So that's kind of what we have on the Euro index. And then you have the yen index, which has been quite interesting, right? So yeah, last week we were bearish, which would mean that we're bullish on dollar yen. And the reason for that, as I mentioned, kind of price kind of paused a little bit in here. It kind of respected for a while, but since we had actually this double top being respected in there, and this was kind of already an engulf to downside, I was looking for price to get closer to these lows. And here we are. We reacted actually from the demand zone in there, and then we retraced. Now, the retracement yesterday went all the way to respect the next high, kind of this supply level. So there's not exactly an engulf to the upside in here. Price feature just respected this extreme in here. So if we do break above this level, maybe we're starting to have more room, and maybe going to get stuck within this range. Bigger picture, as I mentioned, I'm still looking for price maybe to go a little bit lower. I'm not the biggest fan of where this low kind of stopped in there. And I think price may wants to go a little bit more farther down. Now what we have in here is that the yen index respected this low, but actually dollar yen broke the respective high that was kind of in alignment with this low. So that's a different dynamic that we had on the dollar yen. So yeah, let's see. Again, the yen pairs have been a little bit different, because some of the moves, for example, on Euro yen, Aussie yen, and pound yen, and would be a little bit more related to exactly to the euro, to the Aussie, or to the pound, not so much related to the yen. On the other hand, as well, we had a really strong dollar yen happening, and that was because of the dollar, right? We had a really strong dollar, and that's maybe why the dollar yen managed to break the high, while the yen index just respected still this low, right? And it goes just like that with the different dynamics between the different assets. And there you go. So again, let's see if you do break above it, maybe there's a chance to kind of go long from here. We do have kind of maybe a Quasimodo happening with this low in here. Kind of we can see the pattern that maybe is about to be created. It will be, for example, interesting for price in here to even pause somewhere in there, not even retrace all the way to the demand zone, go all the way, now break the highs, and then maybe respect something in here, and then kind of start retracing a little bit, and then kind of go there, and now kind of making the move higher, right? That would be interesting, or just a little bit of a break in here, just to retrieve to sign the goof up, retrace, have the deep retracement, go below the structure that is created, hopefully somewhere in here, go into the extreme of the level, and then retrace. Otherwise, the price may just continue to go down, and maybe something like this can happen. So those are a few scenarios to look for on the yen index in here. Faden, what are you looking for on the ends? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah, let's take a look at the individual currency pairs. All right, euro. Yeah, Martin. Yep, that would mean the yen index to go higher, and to look for shorts on the yen pairs. That could make sense. AJ CAD, yeah. True, and even the dollar yen, it's actually reacted from a good level, and yesterday move to the downside was quite strong as well. So yeah. So if that happens, in this case, we will have a double bottom on the yen index, and most likely it's going to start moving to the upside, and having all those other yen pairs to look for a short. Maybe that could be a scenario for the week ahead. That could happen. Yeah. Yeah. So again, let's take a look at the euro dollar, right? So, all right, here we are. Move to downside as we described last week, right? I was looking for price kind of to continue. Again, Monday, apparently it was the day that we retraced. It was actually a really good level, really good supply level that was in there, just above this zone. Yeah, apparently price respected straight away this level without these highs. Not exactly kind of the move that usually you see. And what was the target, right? We had an idea that price wanted to go below that lower, and I was actually even looking for price to go already below this low. I didn't really see anything in here, and the good level to look for, it was a retest of this previous level support resistance into there and into something in there, right? So on the lower time frame, we have a little bit of a demand zone in there. If you start going lower and lower and lower, there isn't really much, maybe something in here. It looks like everything has been spiked so far. There's literally maybe this last zone in there, because this one never really reacted from there. And this is the need of being super precise, kind of with the level itself. And there you go. That's kind of where price reacted from. Previous level support resistance. Again, we had a few days in a row, negative days in a row on the euro, so it was kind of expected to see a little bit of a retracement on the euro. I'm curious to see how price continue from here. Yes, so that's what we had yesterday. Moved to the upside. Quite a little bit of volatility while the Fed Chair Powell was speaking. Kind of we opened into this compression zone. I think price would like to go higher. Yes, this one was still a little bit fresh. This one is actually kind of still a little bit fresh as well. But to be honest with you, could see going a little bit more to the upside. Again, it's a little bit like the similar to dollar index. Is this my favorite level to look for the retracement? I haven't preferred a little bit more on dollar index than on the euro dollar. Euro dollar eventually, to be honest, I would like to see it going almost retesting these lows in here back in March. Now, doesn't mean that we're going to just go in a straight line. There's a chance of having a little bit of a deep retracement on the euro dollar. On the other hand, the way euro dollar has been kind of moving to the downside, it has already kind of been in some style of compression. anytime it kind of creates a bit of momentum, kind of it retraces. So yeah, we do have this first barrier, right? So let's see how price is going to behave in here. It's kind of the same situation or the same demand zone that we have on dollar index. So yeah, curious to see how price is going to behave somewhere around this structure. Otherwise, we go a little bit higher, maybe retest last week's high before continue to go down. Yeah, let's see. Is there anything still in here at the lows that price can go to? Maybe. Is there anything underneath the lows that price can go to? Anything in here below? Price is reacting from that level. Just to be honest with you, as we continue to move down, I'm not the biggest fan of anything in here. Something in here maybe. Now I'm to this previous level of resistance below these lows. There's maybe something that price could use. Yeah, maybe something in here. This kind of small demand zone, just underneath these lows. Maybe this could work a little bit. Maybe it has been still fresh. We also have already this one reacting from there. Yeah, it's going to be one to keep an eye on to see first of all how it's going to open, and then Tuesday is going to be quite a volatile day with the PMIs data coming out. So let's see what's going to happen. Is there anything in here above this level? Anything above in here? Yeah, maybe this level is quite interesting as well. Look for a continuation, maybe. Yeah, quite tricky. Let's see what the euro is going to do. The move to downside, that's kind of done as well, similar to dollar index. This is a okay level, especially in the higher time frame. We have this previous level zone, we have this one as well. So it was an important level to look for a reaction. That has happened already. So this maybe it's enough for the move that you're looking for. But yeah, so let's see what's going to happen in there. The price in here didn't really react from the base of this level, so there's maybe even fake out of this low, and then kind of price moving upwards, perhaps. Yeah, so just a few things to look for on the euro. Then we have you're looking at euro 0.780, right? That was the level we were looking for yesterday, I think both of us. Yeah, I'm still looking for that one. To be honest with you, in the lower time frame, it actually makes sense where, especially on 1 minute, it makes sense actually where this will stopped, because we do have this decision in here, and this is kind of where the gap, the space is. It's actually in here. It's not exactly on the other one. So that makes sense actually where price reacted. And now the other one, it will be kind of a little bit in alignment to this previous level support resistance and this low as well. So that's kind of a little bit more of where we are looking for. But in here on 1 minute, for example, there's not exactly anything. The zone was a little bit in there, or maybe a little bit below it. So let's see what price is going to do. Price reacted already from this level. If by any chance, if it wants to go all the way, retest these lows in here, maybe that's level still fresh. Somewhere in there. Then yeah, I'll have these alerts in place. At the highs, not exactly much to look at. Maybe something in here could be interesting. Price kind of just dropped yesterday. Interesting, just literally reversed in the afternoon, evening. Yeah, it's kind of what we're looking for. Pound dollar, right? This was the next one, and there you go. It reached the target as well. So we're looking for price to go below this low. That's kind of where we're looking for, and then to react or to have some kind of reaction within this structure. It's kind of the next zone that was still fresh. None of this reacted from there. So initially you had a little bit of a test with these ones. Price reacted from there, and then we went all the way to the extreme in there, with price kind of reacting from there. Now if you do break below this low, I think eventually we can go all the way down. Maybe there's something in here that price can still use it, but eventually I think we can go all the way and maybe getting closer to that level, which actually in the bigger peak, in the daily time frame, it's kind of one of my favorites at this point. But let's see also how price is going to react from there. The high yesterday just reacted from the opening from the day before, so okay, maybe there's more room to the upside. Maybe price can get even closer again into that level and look for another opportunity. So let's just see whatever the pound is going to do. The move to the downside, we are looking for it, right, to make all this move that has happened. Yeah, just let's see if there is even a little bit more in there. So this one kind of was taken in there. We have maybe that extreme. Yep, just curious. If you do break below this level, I think it opens the door to go further down. So if you do have some kind of retracement, maybe then you can go down. GU 2402 24. Yeah, 2402 at the volts, right? Somewhere in here. Yeah. Yeah, somewhere in here. I would start even with that level. I even picked it based off this. They have this double O, and I would even start with 2405. But yeah, it will go all the way until here. Almost a 9 pip zone. Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that level. Maybe there's something in there to look for. Question mark is this high. Kind of reacted from the base of this. Yeah. The rejection was quite interesting, right? The rejection at the end of the yesterday session just kind of didn't manage to stay close to the highs. We just had to go down. Yeah, I'm just curious to see how price is going to open. And I think the best opportunities may occur actually on Tuesday. If you manage to catch straight away from the London Open the direction correctly for the PMI data, I think that can be maybe one of the best setups for the week. Tomorrow we'll see. I'm curious just to see how price is going to open. Yeah, price is kind of making that zone 3 move, right? So we have kind of zone 1, zone 2, we create the liquidity, and now from here I think it starts kind of that compression move. So anytime kind of we go down, maybe retrace a little bit, maybe we are going to continue to move further down until maybe eventually we get to this level. I think that's kind of my final target for all this move to the downside. Now we may have deep retracements along the way. Maybe we even have a really deep one all the way towards there before we continue. Yeah, I think I would even prefer to see maybe price slowly getting there before maybe having such a deep retracement towards even there or even towards something higher. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. When you are in this kind of moves now, sometimes there's opportunities, as you can see, basically to either go long or short. It depends on what you want. Yeah, because price kind of is starting to battle like this, and giving opportunities to everyone to be involved. We have Euro Pound. Euro Pound is also kind of still within this range. After that strong move down, broke the lows. Overall, I'm still kind of a little bit more bearish. I think maybe can go a little bit lower. So far it's kind of reacting a little bit from the support resistance zone. You can even have a little bit one underneath that, and then you have maybe a little bit more of the extreme. So we are ranging at this point, not really managing to break below this. This just shows the yeah, this looks like a little bit kind of the Euro index just to see kind of the range in here when there's not exactly momentum between the euro or the pound. That's kind of the tendency. It's just a range in here. So let's see whatever is going to happen next on the euro pound. And then the Aussie, yep, looking more further down. So this one we had that broke the downside. We kind of have a small engulf in here and kind of reverse straight away. We are reacting from this level, which is kind of a little bit fresh underneath those levels, those lows. I was looking for price to get a little bit lower, and then we can do that. We just took another highs in here, so that's interesting. So question mark is, are you going to continue to have kind of price moving within this range or not? Kind of, are you going to continue to be here? Yes or no? That was still a nice reaction. Overall, I'm still looking for price to go a little bit lower because we broke this low. So again, I keep repeating myself. I think there's maybe more room to go down. That question mark is, when are you going to do that? So let's see what's going to happen on the Aussie. But yeah, maybe next target could be a little bit in here. All this looks a lot compressed. Maybe this one is still fresh. Nothing really at these lows. Yeah, so let's see what's going to happen on the Aussie. Personally, I haven't been trading Aussie for a long time, and actually Aussie was tends to be one of my favorites. The movement has been it's quite interesting, but since it's just stuck within this range, I'm not the biggest favor. I prefer more when price actually moves a little bit more than just stays like this. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm looking there. Euro Aussie, it's now a little bit in this range as well. Interesting after this strong move. Now, personally, I think we are kind of creating a zone 2, kind of zone 4 in there. Price reacted really nicely from that high, so created a double top. It just broke into this level, and maybe in here can be kind of a compression zone. Yeah, let's just see what's going to happen. We managed to break slightly this low. There's maybe a little bit more room in here to the downside. So eventually, maybe that's going to be the direction that you're going to. Really nice reaction from this previous level support resistance in there. Another attempt to go there after it breaks slightly these lows. Nice reaction there as well on the world time frame in here. So let's see what's going to happen. You kind of managed to break into this compression zone. So at least kind of all the way until here, I think there's room to go, and maybe price can go towards there. That kind of either it's a euro move down or kind of the Aussie getting stronger. That will push this one to the downside. If you get closer to this low, personally, I don't really see anything interesting in there. Maybe just at the extreme. Otherwise, you may just literally continue to move further down. But yeah, we are in this range. So let's see what's going to happen next as well in there. And now the yen pairs. Like, let's take a look at those yen pairs that you guys are mentioning. So yes, we mentioned also last week, be careful. We're trying to look for sales somewhere in there because we had this demand zone that managed to hold price. So this level was never broken. Price respected it and then kind of respected it again. Again, now this in here is actually quite a beautiful move. And then you have the move to the upside, right? Price went all the way through. It didn't really manage to break any lows on the way up. So as long as the lows are not being broken, there's not exactly reason for even attempt to look for a sell. Because if price by any chance wants to move down, eventually it's going to start breaking those lows. For example, even breaking a little bit of this structure. For example, maybe breaking below this level, even breaking below something in there. That could have been done if price by any chance wanted actually to reverse from here. So we had to then start looking to the left side and try to find out where is the next level. Like, we had all these highs accumulated, and all of a sudden you have that big liquidity being created, and price just shoots through the moon, and it went all the way there. Right, that's kind of what price did. So where did price reacted to? It reacted from the base of this, like daily time frame. That's kind of a zone in here that none of these highs kind of reacted from. That we have a previous level support resistance somewhere in there as well. So that's starting to be an interesting level. And then what you have as well is this level, right? This was a previous demand zone that pushed price to the upside, and price in theory from here should have had a reaction to the upside again, but instead what price does is actually just literally broke through that level to the downside, so it becomes a zone of demand zone. There you go, the demand becomes a demand. Actually it has a little bit of a reaction, as you can see in here. There's a little bit of a reaction, this demand zone, but didn't really manage to push price to the upside as it should, just a little bit until it finds this level and then it just dropped. And then you have this beautiful zone in here. Am I correct that price is reacting from there, or I'm mistaken? Yeah, it's from here, right? 138.73746. Yeah, it's exactly that, right? Yeah, it's correct. So yeah, so there you go. And this is something that you should be doing. Like when price is kind of just moving to the upside, and if you are looking for levels, for example, now NASDAQ, that you are going to be looking for levels where maybe price can find some resistance or can find some levels that can push price down. It's not just what happened in here, it's also what happened in here, that you can try to find the clues where maybe this next zone, right? For example, a demand zone that is not respected, that can work quite nicely as eventually as a supply level in the future, right? So, and then of course all this matters in here. We have this previous level in here as well, so all this matters. Now, is this the last zone? Is the dollar yen ready to completely crash from here? Not sure. Maybe price still eventually wants to go a little bit higher before crashing down, but for now this is a good level. It's also a nice reaction from there. Start having a little bit of these left shoulders as well, somewhere in there. So it was a good level. Now, price went out the way and made the move, and disrespecting now this previous level of resistance that can now work as support. Like literally, it filled out the space. From here, this is where the decision to break the highs happened, and now price just filled the space. So the opportunity to look for a sell, which could have been done in here. A really nice zone. First of all, it was overnight, right? And then yesterday we had that good move. We have break below this, reacted from there, left shoulder, and actually it was a really nice move down. We did just broken these walls, and we actually never really touched this level. So there's literally space in here, and really nice strong move to the downside. Now price went all the way down. It respect now this demand zone, right? So it just respected that level, and which was just kind of the original target, basically, since we already broke kind of this wall. Maybe something in here, but then it will be, especially on the higher time frame, this is kind of one of the fresh demand zones that's still in here. Now if you do break below this level, then maybe we can go further down, but for now this level actually needs to be broken. The rise price may just respect it and may just go higher, and it just continues to be bullish, and this is where it's going to be interesting to see what also the yen index is going to do. So you're looking at on the end 138.49, 138.49. Yeah, that's been done already. That's where they had the spike already. Isn't that wave already done? Nice zone, support these left shoulders in here. It looks like that wave has been taken already by this spike. Unless I'm missing something. Yeah, otherwise that wave has been taken already, so it's either going to be a little bit higher. Yeah, one of these two zones maybe. Either the zone above it or this one up below it. So far price reacted from here. Again, a little bit of the last demand zone. So this demand zone was fresh. Maybe something in here is still valid, but this demand zone was fresh, right? This one never reacted from there. So it's another demand zone that becomes a supply, and there you go. Yep, just there you go. Another one, just like that. So is there going to be still zones in here at the lows? That's going to be the question mark. Are these lows going to be holding price, and price going to go higher from here, or they're just going to crash? And if that happens, most likely the yen index is going to go higher, and maybe all the other yen pairs also they're going to continue to move down. Yeah, even on the 1 hour time frame, this level looks nice. So actually price could go spike that small high. Well, let's see. Yeah, even on it here, if we go actually aim to go there, it's gonna be interesting. Now, one of the last extremes, it will be exactly in here. Just 1 second. Because this level, this high never really reacted from there. So if you want to be really and go to the extremes, there's maybe something still in here. 138.69 in there. Right, so maybe tick charts can help. It's a little bit in alignment to this left shoulder as well, that we had this drop the day before. So that can be interesting to look for. Now that's the extreme of the extreme of the extreme. Which would be somewhere in there. Yeah, that's the extreme of the extreme of the extreme there on the end. Yeah, let's see. If by any chance we continue to move down, then that's a possibility. Euro yen, interesting one. All right, so euro yen was a nice one as well. Again, we have been looking at these zones 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4 and stuff like that. Yeah, so these are really nice move. We actually had that break below it, which could start. So I had actually an eye on this level. In here, there was still left a zone in there, a supply level in there. This high never reacted from there. So we had a little bit of that reaction. Then we have the break below. We have the break below, and this low never really touched this zone in here. So that was a little bit fresh. So there's space, as small as it is, but there's space in there. And the question mark is, are you going to look for a 7 here, or price by any chance is going to completely crash and go higher? And then where will be the next level? Like, so what levels are you be looking for? First of all, let me just minimize this one. In here, not even the biggest fan of that level anymore. Yeah, I think price can just reach a crash completely if it goes above this high. Can even go all the way through. But yes, this level is still good. This is a nice zone. In here, this is a nice level. Previous support resistance as well. And in here, this was a nice zone where price actually reacted from. And there you go. It turned. So we had already an engulf down, and then all of a sudden price starts to turn. It fills the space in there really nicely. Now yesterday, then the continuation for now is in here. That's already good in there as well. Then eventually can go a little bit higher if it wants to. But yes, so this euro yen, it can actually have a little bit of a deep retracement before maybe continue to go higher. Now, euro yen is a little bit different from the dollar yen. Euro yen actually broke below these levels. The dollar yen respected it, so there's maybe a little bit more room to downside on this euro yen than the dollar yen. On the same time, actually look at this. Look at this high on the left side back in, which day is this? 2014. Yeah, back in 2014. Can you see the high? Look at actually your price reacted from. Beautiful, right? So the left shoulder is working. That's why it's always important to look left. Look at that, basically to the pip where it reacted. Amazing, and this gives kind of makes it even stronger, kind of the level. Yeah, so we can for example go and have now a deep retracement from all the way here. We had a big compression on the way up. So yeah, this is literally one of the last months. If by any chance if we break again below this low, I think we can go much further down on the euro yen. Okay, maybe something still in there. It's on the 4 hour. yeah, maybe can have that can maybe go higher a little bit and then maybe crash from there, or maybe just completely go all the way through, and yep, it could be all this low, and eventually maybe the target can be something somewhere in there. If you do break above this level, then I'm looking for price to go much higher and maybe start having something in there. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. In here, how this looks almost compressed. No, there's still something in here. So this is a level to pay attention to. Yep, there's maybe something in here on the €yen. And then above that, almost everything is done. And you need to go all the way to test the highs to look for an opportunity. For our time frame, yep, it looks like one. You are correct, Martin. Like in alignment with these highs. Yeah. Now, a few scenarios can happen. Like we can have, for example, a new low, and then kind of we have that deep retracement. Now, with the Quasimodo, doesn't mean that price is exactly going to retest precisely from the left shoulder or kind of from these highs. Right? It's not going to be maybe exactly into the peep in there. Maybe it can go a little bit higher before the move down. We do have kind of this previous structure where we created this last high. So somewhere in alignment with this can be a zone. Yeah, somewhere in there you can maybe try to look for a sell. Yeah, I would even be more bearish if you by any chance we have another break of a low, and then you have the retracement. So it's also to look at how price is going to be approaching this level. Something to keep an eye on. But yeah, for example, this that we've been talking about, those zones, this can be a zone 4. Right, and if that's the case, now eventually we're going to be looking for a zone 2, and eventually we can break through and maybe fill all this and go closer to that level. That's maybe a trading opportunity that you are looking for. On the other hand, all this can be a zone 4. Maybe now price is creating kind of a zone 2, and eventually can go and fill all this somewhere in here, in there. Right, so that's just something to keep an eye on. Yeah, the euro maybe needs to continue to move down. The yen needs to be quite strong for all these moves to the downside to occur, and it can be, if it actually respects that double low, it can actually be. So yeah, maybe good opportunities to look ahead on the yen pairs this week. Then we have pound yen. The pound yen managed to fake out again the highs. Question mark in here is what's next. So we fake out the high, right? We took this high in here, went all the way down, respected this previous level of support resistance. We slightly kind of made an engulf down, but for now kind of respected the support resistance in there. So we created a new high. I'm curious to see if we manage to break these lows. If you manage to break these lows, maybe you open the door to have some kind of deeper retracement in here, and then again, maybe it can be another yen pair, and all of a sudden all the yen pair starting to be aligned to actually to look for a sell, and again maybe that one, the yen index is going to go higher. Where is price reacting from? So it has been kind of reacting already quite a few times from exactly the same zone. Eventually maybe you can go even take this high and go a little bit higher in here. So kind of you need to investigate a little bit whatever is going on inside here back in 2016. This was even before the referendum. Jesus, man. Brexit was already 7 years ago. Incredible. How time flies. How time flies, man. There you go. This was the referendum. 24th of June. It was a fucking crazy move. Yeah, so Yeah, so whatever it's going to happen in here, right? So is price going to still maybe respect from this level? Where actually price is reacting from? Is reacting from here. Like, do I have enough data? No, I cannot. Maximum I can go is April. So 4 hour time frame. So I got. Yeah, this one may still be interesting. Is there anything in here on the war time frame? That's where it's tricky because you cannot really see it. Yeah, this was the reaction from the low. This level can be interesting for sure. This level can definitely be interesting to look for. Something above this level as well. Yeah, we'll see, right? So maybe this level can also be quite interesting. This. Yeah, so that's a little bit above. So maybe price can go there. Let's see. It's going to compress a little bit and then kind of crash and go below. Maybe even if you just retest this level again, that one can be a good opportunity. If you go even below a little bit there, can be even a bigger opportunity than the other one. So yeah, just keeping an eye on that. Price is quite is compressing, but at first thing I want to see is if you manage to break below these walls. If you do that, then even somewhere around here, there's maybe an opportunity to look for a sell. Again, as you can see, really interesting move. We break below the low, we go all the way back, we retest the previous high that we just fake out, and that was the move, right? Basically, we just reacted from there. So we fake out the high. It's basically you have a high in here, price goes higher, price takes this, does that, and goes this, right? And this one can be a massive high more on the left side. That's kind of a way of quasi-model version here. Something in here. Is it still fresh? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. It's going to be interesting. Another one, another yen pair. It's going to be interesting. So yeah, I'm going to be spending some time looking at yen pairs, and then we have Aussie yen. Yep, strong compression. Been quite interesting. This was a good level. Price pick out all this level in here. We start having a little bit of this structure. Initially, there's a little bit of a reaction from the zone just above it, exactly where price kind of reacted from there. Even this level as well first. And in here, we start breaking some lows. All this compression in here is quite strong, and all of a sudden you have that spike upwards, just to shake everyone in here, and then you have the big move down, right? And we just broke into this level again. So yeah, more, for example, continuation to downside is completely possible. Price eventually can retrace a little bit towards this level, paying attention to where kind of the highs that we just fake out. That's something to pay attention to. This was the demand zone that kind of price reacted, and we already have this a little bit of reaction here, so we can maybe take these lows one more time and then eventually go higher to retest maybe something in here and continue to look for more sales. I think this one opens the door for price to go much further down, the same way that maybe all these lows may open the door for price to go even further down, and all of a sudden, okay, this kind of reacted a little bit from this demand zone. So for now, maybe target somewhere in there, if not even this level. I think this one can be a potential target for a move in here to go all the way towards this level, and I think that's a potential setup on the Aussie yen. And if price starts breaking below even that, maybe then it can start aiming even further down. As long as kind of this high holds, I think that potential setup is in there to be taken. And again, it's another one. If the yen pairs actually is about to go down, then that's the move that you can aim to look for, right? And for example, if you just compare all these moves that we have had in here on the dollar yen, on the Aussie yen, comparing with the Aussie dollar, it's so much more attractive to trade maybe this than whatever you have on the Aussie, which is just this, right? All the way since March, compare even both of them. This is March. So much better setups, moves, and yeah, and run away from the price. Yeah, so interesting to see. What are you looking for, Martin, on this how the end pairs? You said that you were a little bit overextended, that you've been flagged for potential shorts. Yeah, that can happen. God. Cut. Yeah, cut has been kind of in a range. I haven't been actually paying that much attention to dollar cut since this lows and since this high. So everything in between I haven't really paid too much attention towards too. Okay, nice reaction from there. I think there's a little bit more room to the upside in here. So I would like to see price going a little bit higher, closer to this level, and maybe from somewhere in here we can have a little bit of a short opportunity, and eventually can even continue to go higher. So let's see what's going to happen. On the card, I'm just going to wait literally for price to eventually go above this high, and after that we'll see. AJ is touching 200. Silent for hours, so I like that, but especially because of the daily. Yeah, I think it with good PI. First of all, there could be already an opportunity to sell in there, but again, with good PI, I think if you do have it, even in here, still a zone in there. Maybe it was already been touched in here. Yeah, the higher time frame, maybe even in here can be a really nice opportunity. Again, if price by any chance starts compressing a little bit again, with some kind of liquidity created around this level, I think can be another good sell opportunity. Of course, depending on where these lows are going to be reacting from, I think you can have literally a good sell opportunity in here. I'll be paying attention to it. That's 100% for sure. Is there a chance that we can maybe just even do something in here and go down? Yep, maybe. There's no need for a deep retracement at this point. Price can even break first these lows before you do that. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Yeah, this target, I think this is quite attractive. It's been respected quite a few times, This low kind of just stopped in there. Everything in here is super compressed. We already broke this low, so that literally opens the door for price to go far down. Everything in here is compressed, so it's just hopefully price going to have as a little bit of a retracement to look eventually for this momentum to go through. Yeah, I think we can maybe position ourselves for that, even eventually, depending on how price is going to react from here, even on the daily time frame. Then let's see if there's even more room to the downside or not. But I think this level, it looks quite interesting. Is there something still in here? Maybe, but I think I actually prefer to see price going down. Okay. G4X, like I think we should start being sponsored by G4X. I don't know if the guys are listening. G4X is a great platform. Everyone should be using it. To check the tick charts. Actually, on G4X, I use the 10-second chart, not the tick. On CTrader, I use the tick charts. But yeah, the G4X, if you want to get in touch, let me know. It's a great tool. I don't mind to make a video explaining how great the tool is. You mentioned 13836. Oh, you go much further down. You go all the way here? Fair enough. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that needs really to be tick charts because I don't see anything in there. Yeah, I don't see anything in there. On 1 minute, I still like this one, which is previous level support resistance in here. which would be 138413. And then my favorite, it will be Steven even to take this high to go all the way back to 5-1. Yeah, I'll keep the line in there just because it's you, and let's see what's going to happen. Yep, just set up the alert in there, and let's see what's going to happen in there. USD card, dollar franc Swiss next. Euro card, you can look at Euro card as well. Yeah, Euro card, quite interesting. Right, it's another one that have been quite bearish. Really strong compression in here. Martin, good job on holding and surviving out these retracements. But it was kind of start to scream to a potential reversal. Now, my favorite target, to be honest, in here is actually a little bit lower. So we may even go and take these lows. So maybe the move to the downside hasn't finished just yet. Maybe price wants to go a little bit closer to this level. It's a nice retail reaction also from this previous level support resistance that we had just now. Yeah, yesterday we had a really strong momentum to the upside. Nice reaction from there. So let's see what's going to happen next. But you are really compressing quite a lot. Okay, this was maybe still one of the last fresh zones that was still in there. Question mark is, it's going to be from here, or are you going to actually go a little bit lower before maybe having a deeper retracement to maybe fill all this and getting closer to this level again? But yeah, this level is quite strong, interesting. So let's see what's going to happen next. From somewhere in there, or even below that, maybe somewhere into this demand zone in here, or a little bit lower to eventually go and have a deeper retracement on the Euro card. And this is another one, as you can see, is bearish candle, bearish candle, bearish candle. All of a sudden, the extension, it's happening. It's not that often that you have like 5, 6, 7 consecutive bearish candles, even though it doesn't really look that with so much momentum. That's when we have this compression, but eventually we're going to have that retracement. Now, this actual level reacted nicely from this daily open. So let's see what's going to happen. What's going to happen next? Bigger picture, yes, maybe even going all the way back in here can be a scenario, with maybe final target even being this 141.96 site. Yeah, now maybe there's going to be somewhere in there a potential deep retracement to occur. Yeah, everything in here, it actually looks quite compressed. Maybe something in there can hold price a little bit. Yep, actually like this level just right now. Yep, look, actually like it. Something in there, it's quite nice, to be honest. And it was previous well support resistance in there. So yeah, let's see whenever we're going to have maybe a little bit of a deep retracement, and after that maybe we can have the continuation to the downside. So let's see what's going to happen. I'm still open even to the possibility of looking for sales still somewhere in there. This was a nice little supply level. The price reacted. We have all these highs that never really got there, so that's kind of a zone that I will be still looking for eventually for price to go to. Let's do it this one. And even pound card, can even look at pound card as well. So I've been quite bearish also in here, with this compression eventually to be filled, maybe similar to Euro card. Eventually going to have that to happen. For now, as you can see, you had this separation, right? There's literally this demand zone in there after we also broke these highs. So this was a nice little important zone in there. So there you go. We had the reactions. You can see literally we have all these lows. None of them reacted from this demand zone. It's a beautiful level. If you continue to move towards into the lower time frame, that's the kind of the zone in there. Now the move that actually I was looking to look for, even forgetting about this level. First of all, this level is a really nice reaction from this zone. So it was a really good reaction on the daily time frame. Again, the base of this previous support and resistance, something that is in alignment in there. and those are going to be one of the best zones to look for trading opportunities. These levels in here that are in alignment with the break of the kind of an important wall, especially if it is kind of the last wall that created the high. And there you go, we have kind of this supply in there. That's done, right? Beautifully. But then the second level that I was looking for, it was in here, and unfortunately this was around the Bank of England as well. Unfortunately, price never spiked above it. It took slightly these highs, some of these highs, as you can see, but it never really had that proper spike above it that I was looking for, above all this structure, to then look for an entry, to look for a sell, because I was literally still bearish in here, looking for price to go further down. That may still happen. So this was the next level that was quite obvious, right? Previous level support resistance, we have the supply level, so that's done as well. Now there's maybe even actually a little bit above it, and I'm still even open to the possibility still for that. As long as price kind of maybe goes there, has a little bit of a deeper retracement without really reaching the base of this, I think I'm going to still looking for a potential sell opportunity, and it's kind of what I'm still going to be looking for. But yeah, there you go, pound CAD. These alternative kind of minor FX pairs, sometimes they offer really good opportunities, even comparing with the major ones. And then we have dollar franc Swiss. Yep, dollar franc Swiss. Right, so we have been bullish on dollar franc Swiss for a long time. Did I manage to break below this wall? Maybe. Yeah, so if I caught these levels, just as we were looking for, kind of reacting a little bit from there, that was done, and all of a sudden more momentum to the upside, fill out this compression, and there you go. Now it reacted from here, right? Again, a little bit of maybe previous demand zone that was not respected when it should, right? Again, how many examples have I given just today of these demand zones that kind of push price to the upside, and instead of price kind of reacting from there and go higher, it actually works on the opposite side. Yeah, so keeping an eye on those ones for the future. Now we do have a little bit of this zone above it. Even this one in here as well can be quite interesting, and even maybe more attractive than this one, because it also is in alignment with this previous zone in here. Nevertheless, I'll keep an eye on that one for sure, which is now actually create that liquidity of the high that we have in there. It's going to be an interesting one. Let's see what's going to happen on the dollar franc Swiss. Actually have this line in there as well. So yeah, deep retracement, maybe going to move a little bit lower. Again, I'm still open to the possibility. As you can see, this demand zone is still fresh, so I'm literally open to the possibility of having a deep retracement, and that may happen if the dollar is actually ready to have maybe a deep retracement as well, instead of continuing to push to the upside. If the dollar goes higher, maybe this one's going to go higher as well. So far, unfortunately, I missed this the sell. It was overnight there. I was looking for, it's exactly this kind of moves that kind of one of my favorite entries is when you have kind of the high, a little bit of the move, but the retest in here, kind of the creation of that double top, but by faking these levels, it's kind of one of my favorite moves. But unfortunately overnight, and a lot of the moves are starting to happen during the Asian session, which is quite annoying. But yes, really strong move in there. I'm literally open to the possibility of having a deep retracement. We can even go a little bit higher again and completely, but deep retracement all the way below these lows into this level, and from here maybe we can start aiming to go higher again. I think we may have that scenario. We'll see. I'm bullish in here, and I'm going to be looking for any kind of sales if we do start retracing closer to this level with the potential to do this. That's kind of my take on the franc Swiss, what I'm going to try to look for in here. It's nice that none of these signs kind of managed to get closer to this extreme, so that's good, and that can help us to eventually find the new level. This is actually quite nice in there. Yeah, that's definitely going to be something that I'll be looking for. We need that retracement now. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And then gold as well. Similar to the dollar, similar to the euro and so on Friday, yesterday. we had the retracement. Again, this was one of the targets that we were looking for. One of them was initially in here. All right, price kind of reacted a little bit, and then as soon as you break below this level, all this was compressed. So looking for price to literally move to downside. It was quite predictable, and even if you do break below this level, the next zone was literally kind of this demand zone somewhere in here, right? And it literally price reacted for now at the extreme of the extreme. So that was one of the levels as well to look for a potential retracement in here, and we had that. And even then in here, and really nice reaction yesterday from this demand zone. This price was building up, and I think we can have more momentum to the upside. So this was a little bit of the level that price should have respected, and just respected a little bit. Yeah, as you can see, basically price already reacted from there in here. Yeah, so this may be a little bit weaker because price already reacted from there. That's why maybe price actually can eventually continue to go higher. So far reacting from this level, but you may have a little bit more room to the upside. It should retest 2k, right? And 2k is somewhere in here. Yeah. Yeah, curious to see how price can react somewhere from this structure, right? This is the structure that kind of separates this level, and eventually can go a little bit higher. We can even retest this level once again. You can even maybe even go back closer to this demand zone once again, maybe something in here, and kind of go higher. But yeah, so if you're bearish and you've been bearish on gold, now it was the time to start looking a little bit for at least some retracement. I don't mean the reversal all the way through to the upside, but at least retracement, and then you can even continue to move down a little bit closer to this daily zone. Yeah, it's also a little bit in alignment to this previous support resistance. So yeah, it was quite predictable that we to have this one, and that was the direction that you should have been trading yesterday on gold. Again, bearish dollar, gold, bullish, and so on. Yeah, should retest 2k. Yeah, really nice. This is another Quasimodo. Really nice move. That was compression, then just spiked above it. Yeah, interesting. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen next. As soon as you break above that level, you may get closer to there, and yeah, that's basically the move. Since you basically broke this wall, that was the trigger that you're looking for price to go all the way. First in here and then all the way there. So yeah, that was a trigger to start looking for the sales on gold. Is the final target going to be something related to this demand zone? Looking like on the weekly, maybe not. This is kind of what it looks like. Yeah, so let's see what's going to happen next. What else? We have even oil. I'm still respecting this level in here. Respecting this level in here as well. So we are within this range. There may be a chance to go a little bit higher. So far, price is respecting this previous support resistance. Can go even a little bit more in there as well. Can have something in there as well. So yeah, I'm still even open to possibility a little bit more in here. Let's see how price reacts from there. Even here. Yep. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen. Even retesting here until it took these lows and kind of continue to go down. Yeah, let's see what oil is going to do. Yeah, and let's see. Maybe we're going to open with some gaps. The G7 meeting is happening in Japan, so maybe there's something that's going to be said, either about the debt ceiling or about whatever, China, conflict in Russia, whatever it may be, and we can have a gap in the market for Monday. Yeah, and just to finish with this beautiful BTC and Ethereum. So where were we last week? Last week we were somewhere 14. Somewhere in here, right? It was the 13th of May. Yeah, I was looking for price kind of to create that move, to get a little bit closer to this level and to create this kind of move. Basically what happened in here, but I was looking for it to happen somewhere in here. Now this one is go down. It's just basically stayed, it managed to take below this low, but it's just stayed even above it, right? So we created still the pattern, kind of go higher, go down, go higher, respect and go higher. So we kind of respected that level after this strong bearish candle that you had. Okay, it's reacting from a good level, and I've agreed on that already, but there's even more room to the downside if BTC wants to do that. Yeah, now on the other side, then during the week went out of the way to respect something in here. That's kind of where we are right now, and we managed to just fake out slightly these lows. Like these lows, it actually reacted from a beautiful 1 minute demand zone in there, but never really reacted from the next level. So I actually looked at this as an engulf down, and from here, actually nice reaction from there. I was actually looking then, before this move down, I was actually looking for a price to kind of fake out that and then to move down. Parity prices decide to stay here, break below it, retest this level, and goes down. This is kind of a nice reaction as well from here. Price is moving away, retest this level, and it moved down. So something in here still a possibility. So let's see whatever BTC is going to do. We are kind of stuck within these ranges, maybe still something a little bit below it that price can go to. We'll see. But yeah, we did have this move in here. Could have been a good opportunity to look for a long, and then somewhere in there to look for a short. Again, I was looking actually for price to retrace to pick out that in there. And then Ethereum, again, kind of two levels that I was looking for. It was somewhere under the test of this level, somewhere in here, to fake out these lows or to fake out this size. For now, we fake out these lows and kind of price reacted from that level. Maybe the red box can actually be drawn a little bit higher. Yeah, it's kind of maybe somewhere in there actually. It's kind of where we have this decision. We have that one. Yeah, this is the demand zone literally. It's kind of where it should be. It's kind of where price actually reacted from. On the other hand, we can go a little bit higher. Yeah, Ethereum is between this range as well. Let's see which direction we are going to break. In here, this might have a little bit an engulf upwards. Ethereum reacted finally from that level that we were looking for quite a few weeks already. Since you start moving to downside, that's kind of one of the targets that we're looking for. Everything in here was quite compressed. We're looking for price to get there. So that's done as well. If you start breaking below it, then you need to adjust to see the future targets. And if there's even a chance to kind of aim to go a little bit higher again, to look for sales in here. If price by any chance keeps holding this level and starts breaking higher, then you change directions towards to the upside. So let's see what's going to happen in here. All right. All right. That's it, guys, for me. I'm looking forward. The end pairs, they are looking really interesting for a potential big sell opportunity if the N index wants to go. If the N index wants to go higher. Question mark on the dollar. Is the dollar going to have a deep retracement to the downside, or is going to continue to be bullish? S&P and NASDAQ. Is the momentum going to be continue on the indices, or are we going to have some kind of reversal? Both parties are looking to get to an agreement with the debt ceiling next week. So that kind of created all this enthusiasm in the market. Yeah, that's kind of what we are looking for. Gold as well is going to react or not. Yeah, it's going to be good opportunities. Tuesday with the PMI data. Friday, I think we have PCE, so it's another important information, a data point to look ahead to see if the Fed actually is going to just remain like we are or not. And that's it, basically. Yeah, looking forward for next week. Try to look for some opportunities. And even before that, now for guys that like football, and I'm Portuguese, I support Benfica, and you can be champion this Sunday if you win at Sporting Stadium. We're going to play against Sporting, so oh yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully we make it through. We win it in their stadium, in their faces, and we can manage to win the title, something that we haven't done for the last 3-4 years, if not mistaken. Oh yeah, Sunday night, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys, wish everyone a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye bye. Thank you very much, Martin, Pedro, for joining as well. Everyone else that is watching the recording or joining also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's been 1 year since I started these live streams, so, and I look forward for the next ones. Thank you, Martin. Bye bye.